I have never ever felt so short in my life before. I know I am currently vertically challenged, but that's not what I'm talking about. This was a whole different experience. What am I talking about? This beautiful country called Rwanda. I'm going to be talking about my experience there. Don't believe the hype. If you want to move there, or if you want to visit, or just want to know, you're curious about this country, join me for the rest of this video. Stay tuned. I'm going to have more videos like this coming up soon. And if you haven't subscribed, I don't know what you're waiting for. Join the rich gang, and the rest of us, let's get started. Before we begin this video, I'm going to take a moment of silence, and I'll ask you to take a moment of silence. Today is officially Kwibuka, 27 years since the genocide that happened in Rwanda. Those senseless violence that led to the deaths of over 1 million Tutsis. I just want you to remember that sometimes things like this have happened in our history, and we do not forget, because the past is useful for our learning. Okay, let's begin. My name is Kate, and this is Hustle Mtaani. Welcome back. I'm a finance specialist. On this video series, we're going to be talking about my experience living and working in Rwanda. So from the get-go, Rwandans have a huge and deep respect for Kenyans and our work ethic. I mean, from the few examples and people I have met there who came from Kenya, you guys have really represented the country well. So it wasn't so hard for me to find something to do from the get-go. This was really nice. But if you want to compare the salaries, they are generally lower there than they are in Kenya. But the standard of living kind of balances things out, so it wasn't such a huge deal. What I do remember was a huge deal was finding an apartment. You know how in Nairobi, there's so many apartments to choose from, like they're even empty? So back in Rwanda, people prefer living in homes. They're quite family oriented. So the apartments that were there at the time were very few and far in between, and they were mostly built for expats with a lot of money. I wasn't one of them, so I ended up living in a house. Let me remember. It was a homestead, but the landlord kind of had separate units. Okay, he had his own house in the compound, and then he had like 7 or 8 different units with the 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, whatever it was. But it was like a huge enclosed compound, okay? That was one of the second places that I lived in. So given that scenario, you already know that the song Nairobi doesn't really come into play, because people live with their families and generally respect their families. So now let's talk about my work. I was working very flexible hours, so I could choose by Wednesday. I'd say I'm done with my work and I have the rest of the days free, or I'd get to travel out of the city with my boss just to go and complete deals, project deals out of the city, or basically do my own thing with my free time. So that was a plus for me. So I have talked about the fun part about traveling out of the city with my boss to do deals and stuff like that. That was cool, but when you get there, the harsh reality on the ground is most of the people that live in the rural areas are older, and with that generation comes a whole lot of cultural influences. Let me start with the fact that my presence there was either, in their minds, I was either the boss's mistress, or I was a secretary there to serve them tea while the meeting goes on. So you can imagine I'm just there with my ideas and my presentations and just like, who does this chick think she is? Well, it took my boss to sit them down to actually tell them, no, you have to listen to her, for them to, they were actually taken aback. It was like, wait, what? We have to listen to a woman. Well, this is an older generation, so I don't blame them for that. It's just, yeah. Another thing is, officially, Rwanda speaks English, Swahili, Kinyarwanda, and French. But on the ground, most people speak Kinyarwanda. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. I've forgotten quite a lot of it. And French, okay? So finding people who can understand you was quite difficult, especially in the rural areas. In the city, it's a 50-50 toss, but in the rural areas, of course, it's just same as Kenya. I mean, you do not expect people in the village to be speaking English to you. So that wasn't quite a surprise. It was just a little bit harder, but I tried to learn the language, kudos to me, so that I can make my way around, you know, because I really, really love the place. Guys, forgive me. I am enjoying whatever little sun is there today because the weather, Lord, let me not talk about it. Anyway, another thing I noticed about Rwanda is it was so easy to meet high-ranking government officials. I mean, that was the surprise. It's not like Kenya where you have to jump through fire and hoops and fall down a building and give $1 billion for them to meet you. This was easy. I mean, if you have an agenda that makes sense, it was so easy to meet people in government who can help you because their focus is trying to make the country better. And guys, if you want to talk about a government that works, I know I'm speaking Japanese to Kenyans, so that's why I repeated that statement. It's Japanese to me too. Guys, if there's any country I have seen the government working for the people, it has to be Rwanda. Non-stop, tirelessly, these people are doing what they're there to do. So this was really helpful for me because it helped my projects as well lift off the ground, and it was an amazing experience. So for those of you who'd like to do contracts and things like this, and you will need government help in your businesses, whatever, that is a place to be. Or if you want to get good case practices for Kenya, please do. Oh my God, please do. So, what was I saying? Yeah, the government that works. No, but I was saying something else. Okay. I challenge you guys to name me a place in Kenya where you can register a business within 3 days, where you can get your passport within 3 days. Like, I'm not joking. This is my serious face right now. You know, I had to collect my passport from back in Kenya when I was in Rwanda. So these guys emailed me or messaged me and they told me that my passport was ready. This is a passport I had applied for in, I think, April. And then I got the message in May. No, not in April. March or February, before I left. And I got the message in May, sometime in May. And I was so busy that I said, you know what? I'm gonna come in August to collect it. Fam, I came in August, the week during or after the first election. Remember 2017, that time. There was that first election, then there was the second one. So uko katikati is when I came back, okay? And I went to the passport office and these guys told me, you know, the biometric details were lost or something like that. And I was just like, wait, what? How do you lose biometric details? This is not my first passport. Guys, why is Kenya so frustrating? Anyway, the moral of the story is having to explain to my boss in Rwanda that I'm in Kenya for longer than 2 weeks for a passport that was apparently ready in May. Do you understand? There's such a huge difference. It was like, you mean it's not ready yet? So when I'm coming back, I don't know when I'm coming back. Do you really want your job? I do, it's not me. Anyway, long story short, I had to leave my passport back in Kenya and go back to work because there's just no way. So, something I'd like to tell you about the people is they're generally conflict avoidant and they would rather not have a direct face-to-face conflict or confrontation. They would rather either keep the peace or tell you somehow indirectly through your boss. I'm not kidding, okay? So make sure you are on good terms, for real, okay? Not just smiling over the beers. And when I mentioned that they have a respect for Kenyans, there's also this other flip side. As Kenyans, we have shown to them and much of the world that as hardworking as we are, we also put money first. So there's that thing going on around, which is true, I'd say, for the most part. So I don't blame them for thinking that. The workplace culture is not as fast-paced as it is in, say, Nairobi. It is slow. And guys, I am a Costarian and I am saying that it is slow in Rwanda. I was finishing my work in literally less than half the time it was taking my colleagues to do it. I'm not bragging, it's just I'm trying to give you an estimate of, yeah. So The workplace culture is generally easygoing, not as fast paced. People get the work done, true, but you would probably take a shorter time and you probably have more time to chill out. It's also a very, very safe country, safe city. I remember walking around at 3 a.m. with phone in hand. I know this is also Japanese to you Nairobi dwellers, but like I said, this is a country where the government does their job. So this is like, it was a culture shock for me. Like everything in Rwanda was like, wait, you mean to tell me that I, a woman, can walk out in the street at this time by myself? What? With my phone in my hand and be safe? So that's cool. The policemen don't take bribes. Don't try to give one. You will be the one in trouble. So please try to obey the law. Do not break traffic laws. I know this is our biggest weakness. Don't overspeed, don't run red lights, don't, just obey the law. It's easy because that's a place where things work, okay? It's also a very, very clean country. I remember in the middle of the night, like at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m., there were these huge trucks which would like, seriously, not just sweeping, like washing the roads. So if you're like out at that time of the night, you'd probably get splashed, but it's very clean. Believe the hype. It is literally the cleanest city I have been to date. Mark that, to date. So every last Saturday or first Saturday of the month, there's something called Umuganda, where everybody cleans the city, president included, okay? I pause so that you can let that sink in. Everybody cleans the city, okay? So you're responsible for your neighborhood. Everybody has to come out and clean. It's really fun exercise, and it teaches people to take responsibility for their surroundings, their environment. Like I said, Rwanda is a very clean country, sorry. Kigali is a very clean city. So far, I believe I have covered everything. I talked about the work culture. I talked about their perception of Kenyans. I have talked about the language. I have talked about, have I talked about the food? The food is basically what you're going to find at home. Am I missing something? If I missed anything, be sure to tell me in the comments because it's been a while. And no, again, I do not have pictures because like I said in my previous video, it's a weakness, okay? You're just gonna have to live with me like that. See you on the next video. I don't know which country we're gonna be talking about. It's going to be a surprise, so stay tuned, subscribe, like, and share. I keep singing this song all the time. I just hope someone will hear it. Ciao!